My name is Nova. I am 30 years old. On my 30th birthday, I saw on Instagram that my family surprised my sister with a trip to Paris. That was how I found out. No call, no message, no awkward family dinner I could pretend to enjoy. Just a bright photo on my phone and a caption that felt like a verdict on my entire existence. My sister stood at the airport, laughing, suitcase beside her, Paris tagged like a trophy. My parents were tagged too, smiling proudly through a video call. Then I saw my mother's comment, the one that froze my blood. She's the only one who makes us proud. I stared at those words longer than I should have, as if they might rearrange themselves into something less cruel. They didn't. I smiled, not because I was okay, but because smiling had become my survival reflex. I turned 30 that day, and in that single moment, I understood exactly where I stood in my own family. I had always known, just never this publicly. Growing up, I was the easy child. The one who didn't demand attention, who didn't dream too loudly, who didn't fail where people could see. I learned early that love in my house was conditional, and pride was reserved for performance. My sister performed. I endured. While she explored passions funded by my parents, I learned responsibility early, taking part-time jobs, budgeting every cent, choosing practicality over happiness. When I brought home good grades, they were expected. When she brought home mediocre results, they were celebrated. Somewhere along the way, I stopped competing. I told myself that being dependable mattered more than being adored. I told myself wrong. That birthday morning, after seeing the post, I sat alone at my kitchen table with a cup of coffee growing cold in my hands. No one remembered to ask how I felt about turning 30. No one cared that this milestone terrified me, that it made me question every choice I'd made to please others. My phone stayed silent except for social media notifications reminding me, again and again, that my sister was in Paris, that my family was proud, just not of me. I went to work like nothing had happened, answering emails, laughing at jokes, playing the role of the woman who had it all together. But inside, something was cracking. Every time I thought about that comment, "She's the only one who makes us proud," it echoed louder. Only one, as if I had never existed. As if the years I spent supporting them, emotionally and financially, had been invisible by design. By evening, the silence became unbearable. I went home, closed the door behind me, and finally let myself sit with the truth I had avoided for years. I wasn't overlooked because I wasn't good enough. I was overlooked because I had made it easy. I had become the background character in my own life, funding dreams that weren't mine, waiting for validation that was never coming. That's when I opened my laptop. Not out of impulse, but out of clarity. I logged into the bank account, the one connected, to years of savings, overtime shifts, missed vacations, and quiet sacrifices. The account my parents assumed was a safety net for family needs. I remembered every time they hinted at money troubles, every time I stepped in without being asked, every time I told myself, this is what family does. I took a deep breath, smiled at the irony of it all, logged into the bank account and clicked withdraw. In that moment, I didn't feel revenge. I felt release. Turning 30 didn't make me bitter. It made me honest. Honest about the fact that love shouldn't feel like invisibility, that pride shouldn't be weaponized, and that family shouldn't require you to disappear to belong. That was the day I stopped waiting to be chosen. That was the day my story truly began. After that night, everything moved faster than I expected. The money I withdrew wasn't spent on revenge or luxury. It was spent on distance. Distance from guilt, from manipulation, from the version of me that believed silence was loyalty. While my sister posted Eiffel Tower, photos, and my parents commented, hearts under every picture. They had no idea the foundation they stood on was already cracking. For years, I had been the quiet support beam, covering shortfalls, smoothing crises, paying bills that were never officially mine. They didn't notice when I stepped back. They only noticed when something went wrong. It started with a call 3 weeks after my birthday. My mother's voice was sharp, confused, irritated. She asked if I'd moved money. I didn't deny it. I didn't explain either. I simply said I needed it. There was a pause, heavy and offended, as if need was a privilege reserved for someone else. That's when she said it again. The words from the thumbnail that had burned into me. Your sister is the one who makes us proud. She deserves support. I let the silence stretch this time. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I just replied, then let her support you too. And I hung up. That conversation triggered everything they'd avoided facing. Bills went unpaid. Plans stalled. My sister's Paris trip extended longer than expected, and suddenly my parents wanted her home. Not because they missed her, but because reality had arrived. When she returned, the glow faded quickly. There were no more posts, no more captions about pride. Just tension. I found out through relatives that arguments had erupted. Fingers pointed, questions asked. For the first time, my sister felt the pressure I'd carried for years. And for the first time, my parents realized that pride didn't pay the bills. Sacrifice did. They called me again, this time softer. My father asked why I hadn't said anything before. I almost laughed. I told him I had, just not loudly enough to matter. I reminded him that on my 30th birthday, while they celebrated Paris, I celebrated clarity. I reminded him of the Instagram post, the comment, the moment I understood my place. He had no defense. Neither of them did. Weeks later, I met my sister for coffee. No cameras. No audience. Just truth. She admitted she'd always known I was treated differently, but enjoyed the benefits of it too much to question it. That honesty hurt more than lies ever had. I didn't forgive her in that moment. But I did something more important. I stopped competing. I told her I wasn't angry anymore. I was done. Done being the silent comparison. Done being the backup plan. Done being invisible. I walked away lighter. Not because I'd won, but because I'd finally chosen myself. My parents tried to repair things the only way they knew how. Offers. Promises, sudden affection. But love offered after loss feels different. I accepted apologies, not excuses. Boundaries replaced obligations. I rebuilt my life deliberately, investing in myself the way I once invested in them. New goals, new confidence, new silence, the kind that heals, not the kind that erases you. And slowly something shifted. They started speaking about me differently. Respect replaced expectation. Pride replaced entitlement, not because I demanded it, but because I stopped subsidizing their blindness. Today, when I think back to that line, on my 30th birthday, I saw on Instagram that my family surprised. My sister with a trip to Paris. My mom commented, "She's the only one who makes us proud." I smiled, logged into the bank account, and clicked withdraw. I don't feel pain anymore. I feel power. That moment wasn't about money. It was about reclaiming my worth. Turning 30 didn't make me old. It made me awake. And sometimes, the most powerful revenge isn't confrontation, it's independence. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever felt invisible in your own family or undervalued despite your sacrifices, then stay connected. Subscribe to the channel for more real, powerful stories like this, because choosing yourself is not selfish, it's survival.